And joining us now is Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro from Texas. Thank you so much for taking the time, Congressman. We're going to get this update in minutes. What questions do you want answered?
Well, first, Anna, I want to continue to express my condolences to all the families who have lost loved ones in Kirk County and Travis County a few weeks ago here in San Antonio because of flash flooding, and have really been amazed by the communities that have come together to support the efforts in Kirk County. That's been just really a beautiful thing to see. There's still a rescue going on, and so I hope that more folks are able to be found alive. I do think that as we move into the investigation phase, there are a lot of questions that remain, I think, that are very important. One, why the county didn't have an alarm system that would have alerted folks who were living along the river or camping along the river, alerted them in a timely way to be able to evacuate and move to higher ground. Also, the county had asked the state government for $1 million grant to be able to put in a system like that. And the state, I think for 8 years, had denied the county that $1 million to be able to do that. And remember, the state of Texas, the governor controls what's called a rainy day fund that I believe right now has more than $30 billion in it. And then, of course, there's the issue with the National Weather Service and the cuts there. And I've seen conflicting reports about whether that made a difference in this particular weather event. But remember, it is, of course, about this event, but going forward, this underscores the importance of the National Weather Service, not just to Texas, but to the country, and how important it is that they're able to do their job and work with state and local governments to warn people when there's a storm like this.
Yeah, nationwide, we know already 600 jobs have been cut from the National Weather Service. I just wonder, as you discuss those questions on your mind, we already know that Camp Mystic was in a flood zone, so there were known risks. How should officials handle that moving forward?
That's obviously a very important question, is whether you build back there, and if you do allow those camps to basically be rebuilt, then what precautions need to be taken so that 10 years from now or 20 years from now or 30 years from now, you're not reporting in the news another incident like this. But the county is going to have some really tough decisions to make. It's a beautiful part of the state of Texas. It's an attraction for so many people who go camp out there for 4th of July weekend and enjoy the river. But as we've seen, not just recently, but in the past, it can also be very dangerous during flash floods.
We only have about a minute left, but of course, I just want to follow up because we know that you're going to have flood risks if you have any activities by any river and people camp or live near water, not just in Texas, but in other parts of the country too. So saying don't camp or don't live there, that might not be the answer. Do you know what precautions might have been taken to make sure any warnings would get to these campers and what the evacuation plans had looked like?
The county obviously would have the best answer to that. But from what I've seen, it was more of an informal system where the camps that were upstream would basically warn the campers that were downstream. And, and they had asked for $1 million to be able to put in a better system to alert folks. And they were denied that money by the state of Texas. And so before anything is rebuilt, I think you've got to go in there and put in the proper alarms and alerts. And also do some flood and hazard mitigation work to make it so that if you rebuild there, people are going to be safe.
Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro, thank you again for taking the time. And again, our hearts are with you and the entire Texas community.